Hey everybody, this is Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here to review the final episode of season 23 of South Park. This is episode 10. It's called Christmas Snow, and it's the Christmas episode. And yeah, this episode, I'm very surprised. I actually really enjoyed this episode. I thought that it was a great mix of different elements of like, oh, this is a South Park episode. It's also a Integrity Farms episode, and I like how Randy has grown a beard, like I don't know what you call it, like a depression beard. There's no weed anymore, and he's got to do something, and so he basically, well, I'll start off first. This episode deals with a topic that actually is kind of relatable and kind of queer, how it still happens to this day, how it reminds me of how in some places on Sundays you cannot buy liquor or alcohol in certain stores. And this one Sunday recently, we wanted to get some at CVS, and we couldn't get any. and so I just think that's so queer. But in this episode, Santa Claus actually makes it unable to get it until the holidays are over because so many people are driving. And I can see how that would be a problem. But then again, I don't know. I'm really not sure what other solution they could do because this town is full of horrible people who just, they're perfectly okay with drinking and driving and doing all that stuff. And so I can understand where Santa is coming from. And then it gets worse and worse. Then they do they do weed, and then Santa doesn't like them selling weed, and then it's cocaine. And he doesn't like them having cocaine, and it just shows how once you outlaw one thing, people just keep finding different ways to get around it, and this is like what happened with Prohibition and everything like that, and I thought this episode was very well written in terms of story, in terms of plot, in terms of subtlety and smart humor, and I also thought that it was probably the second best episode of the season. It's a lot better than a lot of the other episodes that I've given A pluses this season or A minuses, and it's kind of in the same ballpark as Banned in China. I would give this episode an A plus, and I stick by that. There's been a couple episodes this season where I've gone back and changed things, changed ratings, such as the one, I can't remember it now, but I changed the rating from like an A to a B, or to a C, because it was not a great episode, it was just an okay episode, and just because you can't find flaws in something, that doesn't mean it should be just automatically given an A+. And so yeah, I will be doing a review for the season 23 of South Park, but yeah, that ultimately finishes everything up, and I love this episode. It's a great Christmas episode, and I think that it's definitely as good as a lot of the other Christmas episodes, and it's definitely a lot better than the Christmas Poo episode from a couple of years ago, or a year ago, the one where they acted like the Christmas Poo was Roseanne, and how he was doing tweets, and then they kick him out of South Park. That was such a horrible episode, and I mean, this episode easily tops that episode. And so yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed my reviews of South Park episodes. I did my best. It's kind of hard to review these episodes when I mean, everything is subjective, and then you add on to the fact that it's a comedy show, and so what do I find funny, and then what does everyone else find funny? I'm not saying that this episode, that just because I'm saying it's an A+ episode means you guys have to think that too. Because I've also seen other people do not like this episode. And they call it senseless. I'm not really sure where they're coming from, but I thought it was a very smart episode, and it's unfortunate I won't be able to review any more, again, because of HBO Max, who just cannot afford to get another platform subscription. And so, yeah, that's unfortunate, but hey, thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for my Season 23 review. Goodbye!